that they can get closer to the targets we have set for them. Things are working for us. The good news is that some people are being contacted on telephone to try to find their locations, and they are also cooperating. Yesterday, somebody called me and praised government on the efforts that we have put in so far. The person came in earlier, before quarantine. He had been called on telephone, contacted, they've given her where she should go for her sample to be taken. She went there, they took her sample, and she was so happy awaiting the test results. Not just one isolated case. So the contacts can be physical, one-on-one, can be on telephone, but we request that Ghanaians should cooperate with us, and we believe we can break the chain and succeed in the efforts that we are making. The president is so solidly behind us. He's in almost every meeting the team attends. He's chairing the interministerial meeting committee that he has set up. And the old man is not sleeping. Thank you very much.
Minister, thank you for that quick update. Colleagues, I'll just ask you to pay attention to the further nuanced data that we have provided. I mentioned that we'll explain why we are nuancing the data some more. Because sometimes if you just take the ballpark figure 195 and you don't understand the categories, people actually even end up getting scared. And that's why as we go on, we try to nuance the data some more so that it creates context for us. So Ghana's case count as of this morning, as the Honorable Minister mentioned, is 195, but it's in different categories. The general surveillance proper in the population is 106. That is the general surveillance in the population as has been captured so far. Out of those 106, 3 have been discharged because they have recovered. What that means is that the tests have taken place and they have tested negative after treatment or after supportive treatment. So they are discharged and recovered. There's another category of discharged for home management. What, like the Honorable Minister mentioned, it means that they are no longer showing any visible symptoms. They don't appear sick or ill. They are going through the final bits of their treatment so that they can test negative finally. So you find that that's about 18. Then those who are in facilities but are responding very well to treatment, who we are hoping will be moved either home or discharged, recovered finally, that's 80. Unfortunately, we have lost 5 persons, and I think the context of how we lost them has already been provided. That's what gives us the 106. Now, in Accra, when the mandatory quarantine was introduced, a total of 79 persons tested positive. None of them at this stage has been discharged on basis of recovery. But 31 of them have now been moved home for treatment because the risk profiling shows that there are people who can be treated at home. 48 of them are being treated in facilities, but they are responding very well to treatment. None of them is critical, none of them is dead. That's how we arrive at the 79. In Tamale, the 10 persons who were put in quarantine and tested, none of them has been discharged on basis of recovery, none of them has been discharged for home management. But as at now, while we are waiting to complete the diplomatic protocol so that we can have them go back to their countries of origin to continue their treatment, they are currently responding to the levels of treatment that the doctors there are paying attention to. And I'll give some quick clarification on that, because the brief we have is that at the time they came into the jurisdiction, the borders had not been closed. And that is how come they were put in quarantine for, I think, 11 days, prior to which their test and results came in. So Honorable Minister's brief is qualified accordingly. And then you come to the total. So that means 3 persons totally have been discharged because they have recovered. 49 persons have been discharged for home treatment for the final bits of their treatment. 138 are in facilities but are responding to treatment. We are very hopeful and optimistic about that. Unfortunately, 5 persons have died. That's how come we arrive at the 195. We have done this in response to public inquiries about why we should further nuance the data so that context is created. So, Honorable Minister, we are very, very grateful to you. We're also grateful for the policy clarifications. We are not doing compulsory testing or mass testing. It's an enhanced testing in some categories, and he has explained that. We want to thank the local teams that are assisting us in this exercise. As much as possible, we want to ask that you clear all local communication you are giving with the Ministry of Health and the Ghana Health Service, so that in terms of information and public expectation management, we do not get it wrong. Now, for persons who came into the Ghanaian jurisdiction from the 15th prior to the 28th, who now understand that they will form part of this, you are encouraged to call 112 and inform them as such, even if you haven't been reached, so that they can also schedule an appointment for you to be tested. Now, the enhanced testing has commenced. A few days ago, we mentioned that we, as part of this exercise, will be asking officials involved in frontline activities, such as government officials, to take tests too, as part of this enhanced testing. We have started with the president and frontline officials who are involved in this fight. And I would crave your indulgence to please pay attention to this. I want to invite the physician to the President of the Republic, Dr. Petrina Techi-Ankra, to handle this brief. This one is above my pay grade. Doc, one moment while they sanitize the program.
Thank you, Honorable Okonkwo. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As follow-up to what the Honorable Minister has said, on a day before the President's birthday, we tested him, the First Lady, his daughters, and all the staff, all his household. And then I'm happy to announce that all the tests came back negative. A day after his birthday, we continued to test people in the Secretariat, including myself, because we tend to deal with him on a one-to-one basis. And as I speak now, a total of 99 people have been tested, and the results have come back negative. We are continuing this process, and as and when there is, we hope that everybody will test negative. I know the Ministry of Health and the Ghana Health Service are continuing the process. The President is, as much as he said, very hardworking, chairing a lot of meetings, staying up late. So I am on him to make sure that he's observing the social distancing. If any of you observe that he's not wearing the mask, which a lot of questions have been asked, is he's observing the social distancing strictly, and then we're making sure that he's washing his hands very often, frequently, and then he is also using his sanitizers as well. Thank you. Okay, the Minister of Health says he's also done the test and he is negative.
Minister, I want them to test you again. Dr. Techi-Ankra, thank you for that update. So we have commenced the testing of frontline officers who are involved in this exercise. We started with the President, and many of us are also submitting samples as well. The Minister responsible for health has tested. He is negative as well. We want to encourage people to understand that it is not a very scary thing. Taking the test enables us to know your status and therefore assist you if you need to be assisted. May I quickly do a translation of some of the highlights into Twi, and then we'll deal with the final matter, which is the information contact center, and then we'll take your questions. Minister responsible for social protection, any gender, ni ebidi inkomo. Yenuanoma omuni bebida, omuni bibidi. Said omo ya na omutrimu kom kakra nti obehuna ase onam kwan ho kakra. Sabri ya yese emani pampie ne ye omoden. Babia omo beda no ministry no enya kwanya anante mu ahwe babia dodo won beda ebi mu deda efie bi mu ene babia hodo omakohu kwan ya obetumi ahwe om so ho wonoma na deda kwan ho no so no womo ne Ministry of Education ne aban nyuma ko aka no so ehwehwe babia yebetumi ede womo akwako da omaduane semmu womo ne agencies ni bi ne ankwankwan nyuma ni bi so ebo omhomoden se yebehwe na sabri mpo no yetumi ama omaduane ansana adwuma kakra omo beye akohomase kakra omo betumi ayede ahwe omo matumi ahwede aboa ebio akande bi ho omo hia se na yɛn nyinaa yɛka se yɛn use sanitizer seminar nsuo ne ade na enye omo nyinaa na ɛwɔ bi ebi mu yɛ yɛn nuanom mmaa bi mu hwɛ ne mfie so atomo se nkɔyɛ oba bank yɛyie wadu ne mpanin mfie so a na yɛde siesie yɛn ho bosome ne ade omo so behia bi sabre ya shops ne ade ya totom no nti gender ministry no ɛhwɛ ma yɛyɛ ne na omo mpanin ahyɛ omo se ansa na wotwe we say enko na wie no momfa update emre no on enye de o makasa on beyo de o matumi aya ankasa the honorable minister ne national security minister ehwe edi ho dwuma minister responsible for health so ebe kan ho no so ekirekire mu kire yen say edi kan sa nkomo say yesi ebe test obia e was some areas ampo krata bi ababonten from the local level say ebe test obia no e wo say ekire mu kakra nye sa nete yesi test na ye ye pejam pejana ye pejam no egu ahodo mienu ba ko ye wono ma ye nim so mo ne obi a wanya bi enya nkitahudi a ono na wo say test na so obi a otu kwan e ba Ghana emse fiti be 15th no if you are 3rd ye eliminate flights no be 15th ho no na afi ye hwe saafo no ye nimo ma ye from medi o machi so mo mran be test sempo wo kan mo etu kwan ba ye no ho na say ye mfrɛ wo a utumi frɛ 112 na omo ma so te so kan obi na omo ekire kwan abetumi afa so na yetumi atesto ansana so omo ba bia yenye obi a onya yare ni bia yasanso adi nkomo wo ho ahwe e wo mpotem ho se oni nkofo bi enya nkitahudi a ebi ono de onti se dogo bi no abekra but oni na nya nkitahudi ni ehu kwan ebetumi afa so na nkono so ya test so obi so wo ho ebi a ne ho dodo na na bibia sa bresu ye test na ye no na ye ka ho asem ne nka se by force ye ba be test obi a wo san potem ti ye hwemo se moma obi a entiase man ye nuanom so ebo aye wo form na ye hwemo se abribia mo the information call out mo ne Ghana Health Service any Ministry of Health eni hu komo no mo claim ma mo na confusion bia amamu ewo eho ansana ye kasa as part of testing ye fear say test even aban panimfo a eboa okon we say minister odi anim Dr. Abuaje Dr. Bedusa akode say do be kwemi amegina he o man panin abedi e chempanimfo a edi hudwuma nyina ye fear say so test wom san say ye aso ne nkofo koba o man panin doctor ne begina say Dr. Petrina eno chair say o man panin na nkasa ne enipa ediokun wotwe a ewo na so ye ho 98 persons ansa no man panin na nkasa kan ho ye 99 o ma test a o nyina eye negative ye koso ya test no na ye make sure say impo yemu na bi wo mu a yetumi ehu na yaboa no colleagues one last thing send ya church mu no nipa oha ene ediokunu enum na sabre ye hu so ma test positive miensa de omho atom ema ya mo kofie edionan enkono 49 ya mo kofie a ye hwom so ofie ye kire mu saa ema obi ate ase omko fi ahwom so ofie kakra bi na omho atom kra nti omo de ya mo kofi a ye hwom so e wo fie oha eni eduasan wotwe 138 omo wo facilities mu bi a hospital ni ade a ye hwom a omo so doctor for nani age senia omo nhweye no e ko nanim ye bom pae se enche bi omo so ebetumi yi omo akofie mpose krakra omo ho atom enum na sabre ya hwere ye bom pae se ebi emba ka ho ye stress o mampani se obi antena fie sa na wotwe mienu we wotena fie a enka beboa asojafo no so a kire yen se om so peja om ne ma ne mu enya de om bebobo obi by heart ewokom onipa om agitum se ode ne sa ka obi anka ni se ode ne sa ka no om ayi na fie operation ni mu a om eye ho hwehwe mu na de ebesi bia no om be ma ya so ate. I want to quickly go to the last matter for this morning's brief. To facilitate clarity in information flow to citizens on COVID-19 and related matters, the government of Ghana is this morning deploying a National Information Contact Center. Now, colleagues, we have already announced the use of the National Emergency Contact Number 112. So you call 112 if you feel like you are having symptoms and you need to be tested. You call 112 and we'll do well to send somebody to you or direct you to where you can go take a test. We also ask those who are making prank calls on 112 to stop. We have started blocking people who are making those prank calls. We need to free those lines so that people who have genuine cases can get through. But in addition to 112, which is for those who have symptoms and need to be tested, or those who fall within the categories of test. We are this morning announcing the contact number 311. 311. 311 will offer the following services. One, it will provide information to the general public on COVID-19. So anybody who needs general information